Good evening, and brought to you by the new Pharaoh's Lounge Kickstarter. 39 hours to go. I need another 6.77%. 6% to go to my goal. Will we do it? Will it be taken down? But until then. All right. So we have come to the end of Chapter 2 of our AracKnight graphic novel series, our All-Star Spider-Man, our technique to write comics. And now I got to go through everything real quick. Quick little editing, make sure it's formatted right as we finish the final page. Make sure all the SFX, the captions, anything for our letter is underlined. As we go through this Chapter 2, of course, Chapter 1 of the AracKnight is our origin story for our brand new Spider-Man, where we keep Uncle Ben alive, we kill off Aunt May. His parents are killed in front of him, a la Batman. His powers develop when he's a young kid. Mature when he's a teenager, he kind of drops out of school, travels the world a bit, gets mentored by Kraven the Hunter, finds out Kraven is using him, strikes back accordingly. So I can't stand stuff like this. I want whatever. I don't like when it's a name on the top of a page. We have to change around some formatting a little bit because I found that when I printed it out this way, it almost stuck too much like the sides. I'm going to have to format it in and almost make it a little narrower so it's more friendly towards the graphic novel. So what we did was we opened up Chapter 2 again with an homage to Batman the Animated Series. Enter this down here. Wrong, right here. Clear the area. There we go. Or we can just put this on a brand new page. And you give enough room. We make lots of room. There we go. Now we bring this up. We want page 2 to start on its own page. So that's what we do. We're just going through now, making sure any captions, any cacophony. Also give enough space. And what we have is we opened this story a la Batman the Animated Series, where a bunch of thugs are trying to get away, and Spider-Man, of course, foils their getaway. And then he tries to take down a dirigible. The dirigible is booby-trapped by Dr. O, and the skin is the six. We want to make sure our PDF is formatted. This looks like it's going to be an 85-page, which is kind of cool. Our last graphic novel was 80 pages. We're going to be increasing as... Basically, we'll be doing, I guess, many different iterations of the graphic novel. Because, again, we're going to be having the line arts to be coming in 4 different times, as my guy does 6 pages at a time. He more than likely does them in order unless he has more fun with a page in the different parts of the graphic novel. But the idea is I have Pharaoh being finished, and then AracKnight Chapter 1 will go into production. You get enough financing. What I'm going to do is I actually might put this into production with a different creative team, just to have both comic books going on simultaneously. But then again, we'll see. We'll see. So we travel down the golden road of our comic book, and we reminisce. You know, it's kind of fun when you see your fun, it comes to life. You're mining the old comic books. You're not changing things for the sake of changing things. You're just putting your own stamp on it. Some classic lines, some classic moves. It's our way of putting a stamp on a character that's been around for 70 years and maybe getting some weight behind it. Which is, basically the most fun part of making a comic book is seeing it drawn and seeing it come to life. And if you're a fan the way I'm a fan, this is what I've been doing my whole life. I've been writing comic books my whole life. And then you just gotta figure out a way to get fucking paid to do it. Nothing better in the world today. Takes everything we've got. Taking a break from all your worries. It sure would help a lot. But we might make it a little smaller to fit it in a certain realm, because as we get more pages, essentially this will be 24 pages longer. And then we'll start the coloring process, and we'll do the coloring and lettering at the same time. Oh, you pain in the ass. Get out of here. I fucking erased you from this computer. Peter Parker, of course, having not foiled the booby trap, applies for a job working at Now Magazine, the centerpiece of media in Empire City, where, of course, he works for J. Jonah Jameson. They'll be in the old Bugle building. And the idea is that what he says is now it's like it's a corporate sponsor. We'll leave that line up there, and we can keep page 7 going here. You just want it to look nice and pretty. You want it to be reader friendly. And it's a way of just kind of going through your comic book, giving it that once over right before we put in the final 2 pages and do a little bit of mining to get our story. See, we got a corporate sponsor, kid. The Empire Cityscape. We have the Fantastic Four getting into the Mars colony. And oddly enough, when I started laying this comic book out, I actually thought we were going to be doing this whole Mars colony thing in chapter 4. The idea is, as we keep the story going, we said, fuck it, we'll go bigger. We'll go bigger. That's the fun part, too, of it. When you're putting together this comic book, things will get unexpected. Or you might find that you want to add more meat to the beginning of the story, and we extend it out. We can do anything until it goes into drawing production. So why not do whatever the fuck we want? Which takes us to page 9. As we got to page 8, that would be the end of Act 1. And the idea is that he gets taunted by the chameleon, who basically tells him that he killed his parents. They do the research on him. They find out that he was a test subject. We don't really get into whether or not he was a forced test subject, like the Craven forced Peter's parents to experiment on Dimitri. They might have wanted a human subject. We get to page 10, SFX of the electroshock. So what we got to do, we're just giving ourselves a little once-over. We can bring that down. Now we'll keep that there. That's fine there. If you want to make it a little easier, you can always also underline all the character names. Make it easier for your letterer if you want to do that. That's another little option too. Little touch-ups. Maybe we'll do that one more time when we go through it. Page 11. Again, we could jump this down. We don't want a name at the bottom of a page. We always want it all completed. Anybody reading the script knows JJJ, of course. They'll know who we refer to. Add a panel here. Page 12 can also start there. Now, what we had at page 12 was the chameleon going down to the underwater lair of Dr. O, or Dr. No, or Dr. Octopussy, who we will be definitely bringing into chapter 3 and chapter 4. I don't know if it's basically just a villain of each issue, but the idea is that that's what the beauty of our writing the story is that we're going through the Spider-Man comic books and we're pulling ideas by going through the old Spider-Man comic books in order from a certain section. And what do we draw from it? We are mining vintage history in order to make a masterpiece. Our own personal all-star Spider-Man masterpiece. We have revealed our backstory that Dr. Octopus is the architect of Empire City, and like Magor the Cruel, his ideas would have been stolen by those who brought the city to prominence. Mayor Norman Osborn, or the Osborn family, we're going to reveal that he's built using the technology to make his own sort of floating skyscraper, a space station, if you will. So we're going to have fun with the technology. We're going to have fun with the intrigue. We're going to have fun. What we're not going to do is dance around with too much filler. We don't like filler. Everybody knows when they read my comic books now, anti-filler I am. So it dies with them. What happened here? Oh, 14. We got a lot of room right on this one. Before he fired upon us, I remember my father tossing whatever he was after into the sewer. All right. Whatever. Okay. I don't think he knows. So whatever we find, he will destroy. So it dies with them. All right. Well, we got a lot of room here. We can bring that shit up here. It dies with them. That. All right. That's good. Page 14. All right. That works. Come down here at panel 3. I know it can sometimes be a little monotonous, but that's why it's always good that when you're writing, you bring in a little music mix so that you can have music on while you're doing this monotonous activity, but I can't have music on because it would affect My teaching technique, now wouldn't it, you fuckers? All right, it's page 15. We're almost done, kids. We're almost done. It's always important. You want to go through the formatting. You could have always done this at the end when you're done writing your 2 pages, but it's also a fun way of going through the script one more time, see if there's anything we missed, any ideas, any little notes, anything we could add to beef it up. And I think it's just pretty goddamn good the way it is. Page 16 gets us to the end of Act 2. And it's kind of a lot of fun going through your creation, just getting it that one last overview. Like, holy shit, man, we wrote this together. Our YouTube class. Now, this is the kind of teaching technique I wanted to bring to my college master's program, but the pricks in FAU and FIU did not accept me. Rather than keep applying to other programs and trying to fucking explain myself, decided to just do it my goddamn self. The same thing that happened when I made comic books. I applied to Marvel. I applied to DC. I got a nothing. I got in the door at Dark Horse, and then it just fizzled out. It didn't go anywhere. So again, rather than sit around wallowing saying, woe is me, the industry doesn't understand me, I learned how to make my own goddamn comic books. Now, what I've always wanted to do is write the fucking classics. So again, you can't wait for the world to catch up to you. You just gotta fucking do it yourself. Here we are, page 18. This would be the end of the 3rd quarter. Okay, Spider-Man. Let's fucking go. Yeah, we'll put our own little stamp on it. You may not approve of Spider-Man cussing, but I sure as fuck do. So we can have that in there. Put that there. And again, it's not always 6 panels. Sometimes you want to throw in a 7th panel. You want to squeeze in your dialogue. We're up here to page 19. See, we missed some effects. Some DOS effects. They want effects. Some DOS effects. Strap a neck for some DOS effects. SFX of the flying fists. SFX of your mother's tits. Alright. Losing consciousness, the backup power kicking on. Oh. If anybody's getting into The Boys, I'm a big fan of The Boys. Been watching The Boys now. I'm catching up on The Boys. All right, so page 20. We'll keep page 20 there where it is. So again, I might just shorten the font. I might make the font 13 instead of 14. So this might all end up just being moot, but as of right now, I just want to lay it out the way I want to see it laid out. I might shrink the font or just shrink the borders a little bit. It might have to be the way to go. So when we left off, Spider-Man the Chameleon were fighting to the death. Spider-Man knocks him off the top of the pedestal. The power is kicked back on, but with the power kicking back on, the countdown has begun. And no one seems to be stopping it. So they want this fucking colony's taken off. And the guards are trying to take down Spider-Man, but of course, as soon as the alarm comes off, all the guards run away and scatter because it's a 2-minute countdown. So it's a fast countdown. So we get that one last battle here on 21 and 22 before we went last class. So let's do the reading. Several armed guards surround Spider-Man at the web. He tries to reason with them. Gentlemen, please give me a chance to explain. The man I have captive here is your saboteur. As Spider-Man points down to explain, we see the chameleon has morphed and changed his face to resemble the scientist he previously mimicked. Please, he is a terrorist. Shoot him now before he blows the rocket. Oh, you mother. The guards attempt to shoot at Spider-Man, but suddenly the launch sequence begins. SFX of the launch sequence alarms and sensors going off. Launch sequence beginning. Countdown begin. Countdown. Imminent. The colony will launch in 2 minutes. What the? Can they stop it? Hey, this area isn't clear. The guards start clearing out, as do all the drones. SFX of the chaos. Spider-Man grabs Chameleon by the throat. Last chance, Dimitri, or do you want a rooftop view of Mars? Close up on the Chameleon laughing in his dementia, as his face morphs into its default setting. We're both pawns, Peter. Our paths were chosen a long time ago. The man I work for plans to sink this city, and all that infest it. So regards of what you do today, it won't matter. Regards of? Is that, we don't like the grammar? So just regards. So regards what you do today, Regards what you do today, it won't matter. You're better off strapping yourself to that rocket. Close up on Spider-Man looking up at the Mars colony. Give the panel or characters a blurry rumble effect to show the rocket engine starting to power up and on. As effects of the power engines rumbling to work and the heat beginning to rise. The colony will launch in 1 minute. Close up on Spider-Man and the chameleon's face, giving them one last face-off before the end. The colony will launch in 30 seconds. Well, I guess it's time you hauled me off to jail. You don't think your parents would be proud of you becoming a killer? I'm not going to kill you, but I'm not going to save you. No, but I don't have to save you. I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you. But I don't have to save you. We get that classic McFarlane-like pose of Spider-Man making a mega pull and leapfrog shot as he has to spring himself out of the rocket cone and over the Mars colony, which is about to launch into space. We see the rockets beginning to flame up as Spider-Man makes his ascent out of the rocket cone. Spread the numbers out over the panel, but don't bunch them together. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Close up on the frightened and defeated face of the chameleon. He looks like Jack Nicholson in Batman 1989 about to plummet to his death. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition sequence. Rocket fuel turns to fire as the rockets under the colony blast off and the rocket cone completely lights up in a stunning display as the Mars colony begins to blast off. As effects of the blasting off and rocket ignition and the broadcasting channels turning back on. Oh shit, are we back on? And we have liftoff! We see Spider-Man almost making it out of the cone, but the colony is riding up fast behind him and is about to take him out as he web shoots his way up and out of the cone. SFX of the Mars colony shooting up behind him, and his multitude of web shots as he tries to escape being taken out. Ladies and gentlemen, there was a temporary power outage, and details are sketchy, but the launch went down as planned, and no one right now is asking questions, as we all stand here in awe at the genesis of this fantastic voyage, and may fate and faith decide their fortune. This has been Ned Leeds, Now Magazine. Which brings us to the end, ladies and gentlemen. Page 23 and page 24. We started laying it out in the last class. Spider-Man is temporarily stuck to the rocket due to its propulsion and force. Quick close-up of the window will show Spider-Man waving to the Fantastic Four inside the rocket. He will eventually let go and watch it be consumed by the heavens as the Mars colony takes off to space. After temporary floating in euphoria, Spider-Man will plummet back to Earth. Empire City will come into view as he contemplates his mission. Now that he has achieved his vengeance, he will come to and make his way to a landing and back to the city for the next chapter of the story. Which will bring us to page 24, the final page. Epilogue page where we set up the plot and backstory for the AracKnight, Chapter 3. And of course we have our notes page. Let's see what we end up using. And we end up moving to the next file. 3 variant covers. Slave Leia Steel Bikini Gwen Stacy and the Carbonite Frozen Green Goblin by Iago Maya. Yakuza 6 Slave Spider-Gwen Covered in Spider-Man Multiverse Tattoos by Jose Variz. Spider-Man Retro ESU Strip Poker Mary Jane Watson Gwen Stacy and someone else by Renato Camilo. Mad Men 50s Homage with Stan Lee as J. Jonah Jameson and Christine Hendricks as Betty Brant. Oh, I like that. Oh, I really like that. We got to do that as a cover. We don't need to say 3 variant covers. Let's say variant cover commissions. We also have the, it's definitely a Slave Leia Gwen Stacy. We did a Slave Leia Mary Jane. Got to do a Slave Leia Gwen. All right, let's fucking do this. Epilogue page, what we got to, but we have to do first is page 23 and lay it the fuck out. First things first is I need a drink. So let's put up the Kickstarter page while I go get a drink because it's fucking hot as balls in here. Fucking AC. I'm sweating my balls. Tonight's drink sponsor, Sprite with tea. That's what I'm drinking while I'm sweating my balls off because I've got the beer tea on. Fuck me in the goat ass. 6 bloody percent to go. All right, let's do some mining, kids. We have an idea of how we want to end this comic book, but let's see if we get some ideas, especially because we need to do our epilogue page on page 24 and bring Dr. O into the mix. And how will we do that? Look who's back. Dr. Rock. Enough said. Dr. Octopus. I love that he's outside the Daily Bugle building and Jameson's yelling at him. The employees are gawking at him, so nobody's working. Jameson and Spider-Man just keep fucking with each other. He hates him, but now he's got to get back to school. Back to school on the campus at ESU. Now, we can make him a college student, but I think we're pretty much, that ship has sailed. They've done that in the movies. They've done it with the high school thing already, so we got to do our own thing. He's out of school. Our Spider-Man's a fucking adult professional. We have Harry Osborn's getting annoyed. You start to get mad at Peter sometimes. You understand that he's doing his Spider-Man thing, but there are times you would just want to yell at him and say, dude, could you just fucking just go be Peter Parker and stop worrying about being Spider-Man for a minute, you know? Tickets to the science expedition. You see this girl, Gwen Stacy. Harry Osborn's getting a little annoyed with him. He's taking Gwen out. They're going for the science. They see their teacher. I believe this is the first time we see Professor Warren. Spider-Man and Flash. Harry Osborn. So now they're going. I think this is, Professor Warren. Now, this is the first appearance of Professor Warren. And this guy is going to become the Jackal. The man who creates the clone of Spider-Man and Gwen Stacy. So this is a prominent issue here, Amazing Spider-Man 53. They get lined up. They go into the science expedition, which can actually play into ourselves here. What are they demonstrating here? The stabilizer, safety on this platform, maximum security. To begin our demonstration, we now project a simulated missile attack upon the screen behind me. This is the first time these Defense Department films have been declassified for public viewing. What happened here? And it will be the last time. So the idea is, again, now it's cool because we have Dr. Octopus coming here to steal some shit. So the idea is we're going to introduce that Dr. Octopus, we are going to end this issue with Dr. Octopus watching the events on his big screen in his fucking secret underground lair, his underwater lair. And he's going to be talking about why. We're going to get our answer on page 24, even though we're writing page 23 right now, but we'll get our answer on page 24 as to why he staged the Mars colony threat. Right now it's Doc Ock. He's fucking people up. We could bring the tentacles in, or we can get the tentacles in our story. We can bring it up. We can show the origin. What was he stealing here? Dr. Octopus needs no mask. Just watch. He's whirling those tentacles. Living propellers. The air pressure that scatters erstwhile. So we've got Dr. Ock here, and Spider-Man's going to fuck some shit up. He's going to fight Dr. Ock. So Dr. Ock was trying to steal a nullifier. Whatever the fuck a nullifier is. But he gets him, throws him out the fucking window. They are going to fight. Dr. Octopus and Spider-Man are the ultimate fucking arch enemies. They fight all over the city. She can't find fucking Peter. He shoots some fucking goo in his eyes. He's pissed off. Spider Tracer. Grab the nullifier. Rescue the nullifier. What the fuck's a nullifier? Can we use it in our story? Or is it just another MacGuffin? But Doc Ock is pissed. I remember the last time I battled Spider-Man. It seemed that we were both destined for a watery grave. Again, remember the last time we said Dr. Octopus could not have survived the crashing of the underwater lair. So, of course, we'll get the underwater lair here. See? Just as my own hydraulic power saved me by raising me up to an air pocket, allowing me precious time to grapple for an oxygen tank, which had been part of my basic equipment. and enabling me to make my way to the same tunnel just the one as Spider-Man escaped through, just seconds earlier. I remember my uncontrollable rage at learning my most hated enemy had also escaped. Just when the greatest crime of all time was about to be executed, he turned my triumph into total disaster. Selling the nullifier to a hostile nation would have given me enough money to build an empire of crime greater than before. So we don't just want the motivation to be, I want to be a criminal mastermind, because if he already has the money for an underwater fucking lair, and why would he need a criminal empire? Empire. So Peter comes back. She's glad to see him. Imagine learning what motivates such a man. Is it altruism or deep-rooted schizophrenia? Oh, I like that. He wants to know about Spider-Man. Perhaps we can use Professor Warren. They're at the Coffee Bean. Everyone's hanging loose. He's hanging with the people. Aunt May's coming in. She's renting out a room. And who does it turn out rents the room? It, of course, will be Dr. Octopus renting a room from Madame. Oh, Dr. Ock's getting away. Turns out it's just a fucking thing. See? He leaves a booby trap. But Spider-Man gets away. The nullifier. Thus I must find a place of sanctuary so innocent, appearing so much above beyond suspicion, that no one would ever think that Dr. Octopus might be hidden there. So he thinks he left the bomb. So we've done this already with the booby traps, so we're not getting anything new here. We've done the booby traps. We like it. We love it. We want some more of it. We know differently, don't we, web spinners? And of course, we always love this here. Dr. Octopus answers Aunt May's ad that she put to rent out the room. So we will move on to our next issue, but I believe we have what we need. We don't need to do any more mining for page 23. And we're even starting to lay out page 24, but just to be sure, we'll use issue number 54 because it was your homework. All right. Closing in on the Mars colony as it rises into the sky, we see Spider-Man is temporarily stuck to the rocket due to its propulsion and force. Quick close-up on the window will show Spider-Man waving to the Fantastic Four inside the rocket. They wave back, albeit bewildered. He will eventually let go and watch it be consumed by the heavens as the Mars colony takes off into space. Spider-Man pushes off, and lets go. He watches as the Mars colony is consumed by the heavens. Making its journey into space. I like this better than him just sitting on a perch and watching it take off. He should be on it, like in Spider-Man 1, you know? If the temporary floating in euphoria, Spider-Man will begin to plummet. Begin to oh god damn it. Will begin to plummet back to Earth. Empire City will come into view as he contemplates his mission now that he has achieved his vengeance. He will come to and make his way to a landing and back to the city for the next chapter of the story. Well, I'm not sure if we'll land like that. Let's start writing out the dialogue here. Closing in on the Mars colony. What did we say last? We didn't, right? It was, I'm Ned Lees. This is Now Magazine. Okay. Closing in on the Mars colony as it rises into the sky, we see Spider-Man is temporarily stuck to the rocket due to its propulsion and force. Spider-Man. What if the chameleon is right? What if Empire City is doomed? Perhaps I'm better off hitching a ride to Mars. Because if I let go too early, I'll get sucked into the I'll get sucked into the jet propulsion. What if the chameleon is right? What if Empire City is doomed? Perhaps I'm better off hitching a ride to Mars. Because if I let go too early, I'll get sucked into the jet propulsion and roasted before I crash. And roasted before I crash. So if I let go too early, I'll get sucked into the jet propulsion and roasted before I crash. Quick close up on the window will show Spider-Man waving to the Fantastic Four inside the rocket. They wave back, albeit bewildered. Spider-Man. I envy them. They're braver than me. Propelling themselves into the unknown. I envy them. They're braver than me. Propelling themselves into the unknown. I hope our paths will cross. It's a nice little Easter egg of the way they'll Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four will interact throughout their careers. Unless I never bring them home. Quick close-up on the window will show Spider-Man waving to the Fantastic Four inside the rocket. They wave back, albeit bewildered. I envy them. They're braver than me, propelling themselves into the unknown. I hope our paths will cross. I hope our paths will cross someday. In this life or the next. And I shall have my vengeance in this life or the next. I hope our paths will cross someday. In this life or the next. Spider-Man pushes off and lets go. And lets go. He watches as the Mars colony is consumed by the heavens, making its journey into space. For a time I thought what happened to me was a curse. For a time I thought what happened to me was a curse. That I was a result of my parents' greatest mistake. That floating here among the clouds, watching the Mars colony being consumed by the heavens. I realized this is truly a gift and a responsibility. For a time I thought what happened to me was a curse, that I was a result of my parents' greatest mistake. But floating here among the clouds, Watching the Mars colony being consumed by the heavens, I realize this is truly a gift and a responsibility. After temporarily floating in euphoria, Spider-Man will begin to plummet back to Earth. Fortunately, flying, unfortunately, flight was not one of the gifts. After temporarily floating in euphoria, Spider-Man will begin to plummet back to Earth. Unfortunately, flight was not one of the gifts passed down by the spider. Empire City will come into view as he contemplates his mission now that he has achieved his vengeance. He will begin webbing together a makeshift parachute. SFX of the web spinning and construction. So what we have here, we need a little cute little monologue now. He's webbing up a web parachute now. He's plummeting back to fucking Empire City. We're saying Empire City will come into view as he contemplates his mission now that he has achieved his vengeance. He'll begin webbing together a makeshift parachute. And he will say, Tonight these gifts help me avenge my parents' murder. Tonight these gifts help me avenge my parents' murder. Tonight I stopped a madman. Tonight I stopped a madman. Tonight these gifts help me avenge my parents' murder. Tonight I stopped a madman in his tracks. But tonight I stopped a madman in his tracks. Tonight these gifts help me avenge my parents' murder. And I thought, after tonight, I would move on, take up photography, perhaps seek out a normal life. But the chameleon warned me of a greater threat. To a city that may have taken so much, to a city that may have taken so much, but has given back enough to warrant my curiosity. I like that. Tonight these gifts help me avenge my parents' murder, and I thought after tonight I would move on, take up photography, and perhaps seek out a normal life. But the chameleon warned me of a greater threat, to a city that may have taken so much, but has given back enough to warrant my curiosity. Landing atop of a tower, Spider-Man ditches the parachute and strikes a menacing pose as he peers down on the city with the moonlight, with the full moon in the background. His shadow makes a makeshift spider symbol in the moon behind him. I like that. It's like he lands down like Batman, you know? But it's given back enough to warrant my curiosity. So what's our end line here on page 23? Hey, Uncle Ben. Good to hear your voice, kid. How'd you do tonight? Hey, Uncle Ben. Good to hear your voice, kid. How'd you do tonight? Mission accomplished. Well, the first the first what? The first obstacle, the first wall? Mission accomplished. Well, at least the first wall. Nah. Mission accomplished, but we need another line here. We need another line here for the page. What do we got? And then we're done with Spider-Man, and page 24 will be our epilogue, where we will peer down to the underwater lair of one Dr. Otto Octavius. Spider-Man. Mission accomplished. Good to hear your voice, kid. How'd you do tonight? Mission accomplished. But now, the real game begins. I like that. There we go. Mission accomplished. But now, the real game begins. Bam! There we go. That's the it. That's the end. That is it right there for one Peter Parker inside of chapter 2. And now we do our epilogue page to set up the plot and backstory for the AracKnight chapter 3. So we know we're doing that. We get rid of this fucking part. Let's mine another comic book as Dr. Octopus is in it. And then fuck it, here we are, man. Page 24, we're all the way at the end. I love making fucking comic books, and I hope you do too. The tentacles and the trap. We gotta re-blast here. Brought to you by the new Pharaoh's Lounge Kickstarter. 6 panels to go, ladies and gentlemen. We have finished making another comic book. No, we don't want Dr. Rock. We did this already. Let's get past this. No, we don't have to do that. We can just cut out here. We could just cut out Zisave. All right. So we bring you all the way back to November 1967, where Spider-Man faces off against Dr. Octopus on the lawn of the Parker house. With Aunt May caught in the crossfire, old Webhead will have to think fast if he wants to save her. All right. Here we go. The tentacles and the trap. The Amazing Spider-Man. So what we have here is Dr. Octopus has set up the booby trap, blew up his old hideouts in the last issue. Of course, I remember you're that kindly Dr. Octopus whom I visited in 1964 with Miss Betty Brandt. Who says they don't remember Spidey Annual #1? There we go. There we go. And we have an adventure here. Dr. Octopus and Aunt May begin their little bit of a romance, if you will. Spider-Man's swinging around trying to figure out where Dr. Octopus is. Doc Ock is staying upstairs in Peter Parker's old room, finds all his old porn. He's making his plan. What was this? Luckily, all of my men were not captured when my career as the master planner was cut short by that accursed Spider-Man. So what we have here is we're going to show, again, we have the base. So we're going to show Dr. Octopus sitting in his underwater lair. That's how we'll start. What just happened? Caption over the panel reads, we don't need, it's an epilogue. We don't have to write epilogue. We pan down to the underwater lair of Dr. O. We see several fish swimming around what looks like an underwater aquarium and castle. We hear the voice of Dr. O as he is inside observing the events of the evening. We will pan into the lair where we will have Dr. O sitting in his chair watching several screens of the events of the city of Empire City unfolding in front of him. Very Howard Hughes shut-in type vibes, but we don't see him yet. Just the back of his chair and the glass of cognac at his side. Not sure. Are we going to show the tentacles? Let's tinker before we decide what we're going to do with the tentacles. This will be a big splash shot. I'm not sure if we'll need 6 panels for this page, but he might just do close-ups on like other people in the view. When we come into the next chapter, Spider-Man will be a fugitive. So, what we got? Your wait is over. Soon we shall strike again. Dr. Octopus! I've been waiting to hear from you. Oh, he's got his little webcam. See, he was doing selfies in 1967. He was on TikTok. And so I begin the greatest series of crimes the world has ever known. Electoral interference. Pete's door's open. Harry's getting annoyed with him. He's closing fucking doors. I'm not sure you do. See you later. I gotta visit my dad now. You're afraid I'll steal something, son. Just move out. Peter's like, look, maybe I shouldn't be such a dick to Harry. Maybe you should just fucking tell people you fucking Spider-Man, you stupid cunt. So now Robbie Robertson's the new guy. Jonah J still hates Spider-Man. Peter's racing on the fucking old bicycle. He's hanging out with Gwen. He's hanging out with Mary Jane. Mary Jane's giving him the runaround. Pete has to be doing a three-ways. I love this scene. And Pete meets Dr. Octopus and he says, that's a criminal. He's a menace. Forgive my nephew, Doctor. He's so high-strung. Of course, dear lady, I understand. He's just over-emotional like so many of today's teenagers. I love this. I love the interaction of them out of their costumes. I'll try to show how wrong he is man to man. Now listen, you punk kid, and listen good. One more peep out of you to your aunt, the papers, or the cops, it'll be curtains for both of you. I like that. Her life is in your hands. So this is good shit. We like the byplay between Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus. It works. He's upstairs. He's using Peter Parker's old test tubes. Peter comes in and shows him his own test tube. Gets the fucking costume back on. Oh, here we go. Hey, quiet, all of you. The boss is contacting us. Attention, we have a golden opportunity to avenge ourselves as Spider-Man. Note my instructions to be prepared to move out at once. I'm pretty sure eventually Dr. Octopus moves to Westchester. Oh, this is the Master Planet's thugs. These are all the guys we had at the beginning of this issue. These are the guys that Spider-Man fought on the dirigible. So he's gonna start tackling over, kicking fucking trash cans in the people, throwing fucking heads, kicking fucking heads, cracking people across the face, smashing fucking heads, breaking fucking heads, throwing webs. Everybody's getting fucked up. Doc is pissed off. He's punching through. He's punching Judy. He's punching him in the face. I'm through pretending. You were just playing possum. This is for real. Suck! Aunt May sees what happens. She passes out, has a heart attack. Doc gets away. He's like, oh shit, I can't do this. Why am I always getting fucked up, Aunt May? Oh, I suck. Doctor's here. Doctor gets going. He says, shit, now I gotta go fuck up motherfucking Dr. Octopus. And I think Dr. Octopus ends up hitting Spider-Man with the nullifier. And I think he just kind of makes him black out, like he blanks him out there. So we're gonna save this because we know how we want to finish this. We're pretty much chapter 3. When we come into chapter 3, it's gonna be Spider-Man and Dr. O. It's kind of fun because I had originally thought I was gonna do 4 chapters and end with the climax being the whole Mars colony thing and just kind of build up more of a thing between Spider-Man and Chameleon. And maybe we could and maybe we should, but as of right now, I'm just having more fun doing it this way. Because we have so much Spider-Man shit to pull from, and the idea is we're going to keep writing these till they're not fun to do anymore, and then we're done with our Spider-Man novel series. But the way I see it, we can write a bunch. So we're going to be bringing in Dr. Rock next. Dr. O's going to be our guy. So we're probably going to end up starting chapter 3, and we'll begin mining at Amazing Spider-Man 55. So that's how we're going to rock and roll here. So let's get the fucking story and the scene written. We pan down to the underwater lair of Dr. O. We see several fish swimming around what looks like an underwater aquarium and castle. We hear the voice of Dr. O as he is inside observing the events of the evening. We just had Peter say mission accomplished up there. So now the real game begins. And we're going to kind of have like a flip side of it where we'll have Dr. O say, Number 11, report in. Number 11 will say, mission accomplished, Doctor. The seeds have all been planted. Then Dr. O will say, and now the real game begins. I like that. So it's kind of them, a mirror image of each other, if you will. Mission accomplished, Doctor. See, Spider-Man had said mission accomplished, but now the real game begins. They'll say mission accomplished, Doctor. The seeds have all been planted. And now the real game begins. We will pan into the lair where we have Dr. O sitting in his chair, watching several screens of the events of Empire City unfolding in front of him. Very Howard Hughes shut-in type vibes, but we don't see him yet, just the back of his chair and the glass of cognac at his side. We can allude to the idea, two A's, the idea that Dr. O doesn't have legs, that he is just top half with a motorized bottom that turns into octopus like tentacles, a la Dr. Loveless from Wild West. Spider-like, if you will. I like it. We will pan into the lair, where we will have Dr. O sitting in his chair, watching several screens of the events of Empire City unfolding in front of him. Very Howard Hughes shut-in type vibes, but we don't see him yet, just the back of his chair and the glass of cognac at his side. We can allude to the idea that Dr. O doesn't have legs, that he is just the top half, that he is just top half with a motorized bottom that turns into an octopus-like, it turns into octopus-like tentacles, a la Dr. Lovelace from Wild Wild West, spider-like, if you will. All right. So what are we doing here? Let's look at our notes and see what we're going to pull out of here. Dr. Octopussy could be like Mendel Strom, whose ideas were taken by Mayor Osborn, who took over Empire City when it seceded, or his father before him, either way. Dr. O wants to take out Osborn for stealing his ideas and then trying to have him killed after he and his people, which could be the rest of the Sinister Six, and their origins could be tied to the creation of Empire City like Sandman and Vulture, and Mysterio and Electro. Possibly use the Horn of Atlantis as a goal of the Sinister Six to acquire. We can do a throwback later on to where the formula for Dr. Proctor is discarded when he's shot by the chameleon, essentially the formula that he threw into the sewer. We can have the Lizard make a cameo as almost a Killer Croc type of villain, again for later on. We can use all this right now. We can have a poster when referencing the Super Soldier formula. We can show a shot of Captain America fighting alongside Indiana Jones. I always loved the thought of them fighting together, and again, a future storyline. Indiana Jones and the Horn of Atlantis, which is a team up with Captain America. Dr. Octopussy stages all of this to watch the city's emergency response. He also needs the chameleon to steal the blueprints of the city and the colony and so forth. Dr. Octopussy wants to take over the city and he needs access, so it was all a setup. Spider-Man can be booby-trapped and sucked underwater where he would make a water helmet with his webs. Dr. O stages the Mars colony to test out the city's security response. And with them ignoring the ransom, but tripling up the security left the rest of the city vulnerable. And so he was able to plant his nanobots all over vital parts of the Empire City, which he plans to destroy a la Final Fantasy VII. Osborn sold Dr. O's tech and turned on him a la Magor the Cruel, and the King's Landing Red Keep story. He fucked over all the members of the original Sinister Six. Osborn uses Dr. O's tech to take over Empire City and designed his own master project, the Oscorp Station, which essentially is a floating skyscraper a la space station that he can use both as a home, base, and eventually weapon, a la skyscraper version of the Death Star. Oh my god, I love this shit! Love it! Alright. Let's see what we're gonna use here. We're gonna use it all, probably. We can allude to the idea that Dr. O doesn't have legs, that he is just the top half. Okay, so Cole's into his lab. Number 11 will also report in. We regret that the mission at the colony. We regret that the mission at the colony failed, sir. Failed, Doctor. We regret that the mission at the colony failed, Doctor. The chameleon has been neutralized. No regrets needed. Dmitry Kravanov. Dmitry Kravanov served his purpose. His father would have been proud. Would have been proud of him for once. He provided the necessary distraction. He provided the necessary distraction. And we are now able to observe, replicate, and counter all security response to all Empire City measures. No regrets needed. Dmitry Kravenov served his purpose. His father would have been proud of him. For once, he provided the necessary distraction, and we are now able to observe, replicate, and counter all security response to all Empire City measures, as well as our ransom providing enough fear and paranoia for them to triple up the protection and leave the rest of the city and leave the rest of the empire, of the empire's walls, completely vulnerable. Completely vulnerable. No regrets needed. Dmitry Kravenov served his purpose. His father would have been proud of him. For once, he provided the necessary distraction, and we are now able to observe, replicate, and counter all security response to all Empire City measures, as well as our ransom providing enough fear and paranoia for them to triple up the protection and leave the rest of the Empire's walls completely vulnerable. Close-up shot of Spider-Man on one of the screens as Dr. O watches. Number 11. And what of the agent? You mean the Spider-Man? Yes, Doctor. Yes, Doctor. Do you want us to neutralize him? Not yet. Boy may prove useful. Track his movements. Track his movements. Not yet. The boy may prove useful. Track his movements. Close up on the hand of Dr. O as he reaches for his cognac, for his snifter of cognac. We see a ring on his finger, a la the Spectre rings from the James Bond. God damn it, James Bond movies. Oh, my eye itches. We see the creature on the center of the ring. The symbol of the Sinister Six. That'll probably be the last panel right there. The Sinister Six. Not yet. The boy may prove useful. Track his movements. I have waited a long time for my revenge. As have the others. Alert the rest of the circle. I have waited a long time for my revenge. As have the others. Alert the rest of the circle. Time for a sinister reunion. Alert the rest of the circle? I don't know. I don't like that either. I have waited a long time for my revenge. As have the others. Track his movements. Close up on the hand of Dr. O as he reaches for his snifter of cognac. We see a ring on his finger a la the Spectre rings from the James Bond movies. You know what? That should be panel 5. Okay. See a close up shot of Mayor Osborne looking scared and angry as he watches the launch of the Mars colony among the rest of the celebrity and VIP contingent. As the mayor made contact yet. Oh no, we need that to be no. Shit. Alright. Yes, Doctor, do you want us to neutralize him? The boy may prove useful. Track his movements. No, I don't mind that because he's looking at Spider-Man. Yeah, okay, he's looking at Spider-Man. We need something before the reunion thing. So this is going to be a 5-panel shot. We see a close-up shot of Mayor Osborne looking scared and angry as he watches the launch of the Mars colony among the rest of the celebrity and VIP contingent. We have rattled the leadership. And now he knows. And now he knows we're alive. The chameleon's failure. Chameleon's failure. What? The chameleon's failure. The chameleon may have failed to send a message, but we have rattled the leadership. I don't know if I like that. You know what? Fuck the mayor. We see a close-up shot of Mayor Osborn because he looked at Spider-Man. Okay. Spider-Man in one of the screens as Dr. O watches him. And what of the agent? You mean the Spider-Man? Yes, Doctor. Do you want us to neutralize him? Not yet. The boy may prove useful. Track his movements. The chameleon may have failed to send a message, but we have rattled the leadership. We have rattled the leadership. And the mayor will soon see the culmination of his cowardice and betrayal. I like that. The chameleon may have failed to send a message, but we have rattled the leadership, and the mayor will soon see the culmination of his cowardice and betrayal. Close up on the hand of Dr. Uzi reaches for his snifter of cognac. We see a ring on his finger a la the Spectre rings from the James Bond movies. We see the creature on the center of the ring, the symbol of the Sinister Six. I have waited a long time for my revenge, as have the others. It will be a reunion of sinister proportions. We will have, and I will have a new apprentice. I like that. We can end it very Darth Vader-like. I have waited a long time for my revenge, as have the others. It will be a reunion of sinister proportions, and I will soon have a new apprentice. Because again, anyone I like, again, it's not even fate. Look how we line up here. Look how it lines up here. This issue, if you did your homework, Amazing Spider-Man 55, Dr. Ock hits Spider-Man with the fucking nullifier and turns him bad and says, you're going to be my thug, you're going to work for me. Look how fucking great that is. Look how we end it right fucking there. It's a beautiful fucking thing, people. I waited a long time for my revenge, as have the others. It will be a reunion of sinister proportions, and I will have a new apprentice. It will be a reunion of sinister proportions, and I will have a new apprentice. Should we say the ashes of an empire? No, I don't have to do that yet. I have waited a long time for my revenge, as have the others. It will be a reunion of sinister proportions, and I will have a new, and we will have a new apprentice. I, not I, it should be I. He's the leader. And I shall gain, or I will have. I will have. He's more of a, no, I'm fucking having this. I have waited a long time for my revenge, as have the others. It will be a reunion of sinister proportions, and I will have a new apprentice. Boom! We could add one more panel, unless we want to do that later on, where he's like, we have guys combing the sewers. Or we could put that in here. One more panel. One more fucking panel. Unless Dr. Rowe doesn't know, he should know about the formula. Unless we want to do that later on. Close up on the hand. Close up shot of Mayor Osborne. We could save the sewer shit for next issue. So right now he's focused on the mayor. We could show it with the nanobots next issue. All right, so we're gonna move Dr. Osborne's tech. He stole the tech's maker with a cruel. Ignoring the ransom, left the city vulnerable. Able to plant his nanobots all over vital parts of the city, which he plans to destroy. Okay, we can keep that. Stage of the Mars colony, city's response. Water helmet, we could save that. Take over the city, needs access. It was all set up. Needs the chameleon to steal the blueprints. Stages this to watch the response. Okay, good. Lizard make a cameo is almost a killer. Let's save that. Save that for the next. You don't need that. You don't need that. Them on the Easter eggs there in the sewer. Throwback later on the formula for Dr. Parker he discarded. It's in the sewers. Horn of Atlantis, we already did that. No, 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 stop, 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 stop. No, I don't need that. I hit some by accident. Let's add the Horn of Atlantis here in the screens. You can have the Horn of Atlantis on one of the screens as an Easter egg for a story later on. Boosh! Number 11. No regrets needed. What of the agent? You mean the Spiderman? I will have a new apprentice. So we get rid of panel 6. Caption at the bottom of the page reads, "To be continued." Ah, God damn it, come on. Let's get the notes out of here. Gonna move that to a new file. Yakuza sex slave, steel bikini. '87. All right, so we'll just make that a new page. There we go. This comes out to 87 pages. We'll probably add one more page to make it even 88. We'll throw a sketch in at the beginning. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are done. We wrote a new 24-page comic book. We got 4 possible cover commissions here. And we are now 50 pages in, 48 to 50 pages into our Spider-Man graphic novel. We're halfway through. This was an explosive second issue with a great balancing between Spider-Man and the Chameleon, a nice reveal of Dr. O, some more backstory. We got action, we got adventure. This has been fucking fun. Now we're going to write fucking chapter 3. Just really quick, we'll start a new file just to put our notes somewhere. The AracKnight, chapter 3. Ladies and gentlemen, just make that 14, like everything else. All right, kids, and we'll save it real quick. The AracKnight 3. Save it in the desktop. How fucking cool is that, ladies and gentlemen? We just made another brand new fucking comic book. 12 classes. I hope you enjoyed yourself. And I hope that if you like what you see here, you will contribute to the new Pharaoh's Lounge Kickstarter, or perhaps buy one of the textbooks. This one for Chapter 2 will have a Slave Leia Steel Bikini Sue Storm cover, 3 different variants. May fate and faith decide your fortune, and if you make it, put it all here. Peace, love, war, all that shit in between.